नमस्कार दोस्तों। आज हम बात करेंगे फेमस बुक मैरिज रॉक्स के बारे में। मैरिज रॉक्स को डॉक्टर जयदीप सिंह चड्ढा ने लिखा है। फ्रॉम द ऑथर ऑफ द बेस्ट सेलर बुक प्लीज मॉम इट्स माई लाइफ। डॉक्टर जयदीप सिंह चड्ढा graduated from the Indira Gandhi Medical College, Shimla in 1972. He did his post-graduation in internal medicine from the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Sciences, that is PGIMS, Chandigarh, in the year 1978. We will only listen the punchlines and the important one from this book. Human relationships, are a pain and extremely difficult to maintain, but none of them needs as much nurturing, care, love, understanding, patience, trust, dedication, forgiveness, and finally divine intervention as the husband and wife relationship. If the two characters in this play finally progress to the third stage, which is the marriage of their children, they are applauded for a job done well and that all their responsibilities are now over. Little do they know that their responsibilities will never be over. On the contrary, they will be magnified. To belong to someone is a matter of great relief and happiness. Relationships exist only because we are in them. We make them important. Once we get into a relationship, we have to completely surrender ourselves to it, and only then can we banish our ego. A bachelor is a person who doesn't have to leave the party that he has just begun to enjoy. Naturally, all philosophers had to be old because young people concentrate on stuff below the waist. Wherever, for old men, it is all a waste. Socrates once said, by all means marry. If you get a good wife, you will be happy. But if you get a bad one, you will become a philosopher. Women marry because they think that their husband will change one day. Men marry because they think that their wives will never change. Both are mistaken. As for Henry Youngman, you know what I did before I married? Anything I wanted to. Rodney Dangerfield wrote, my wife and I were happy for 20 years. Then we met. Once the advertisement said, wanted a wife. The next day he received over 100 letters urging him to take mine. They say that women inspire men to great things and then prevent them from achieving them. Your future depends upon your dreams, so don't waste time. Go to bed. Some mother-in-laws are like clouds. The moment they disappear, the day suddenly gets brighter. As per Sigmund Freud, the great question which I have not been able to answer is, what does a woman want? We should give each other space. That is the advice of author to the young couples today. In case your partner is having affair with anyone, remember, no affair lasts for more than 2 to 3 years. The most important thing is the commitment. One should accept the fact that no one is perfect in the world. There can be no conflict if the wife is totally respectful of the husband's wishes. I recently read that love is entirely a matter of chemistry. That must be why my wife treats me like toxic waste. My friend used to say that once falls in love with one's pet after 6 months. Here we are discussing about a human being. Author asked to his friend, what is the secret to your happy married life now? He said, give each other space. We go to the restaurant 2 times a week. A little candlelight dinner, soft music and dancing. She goes on Tuesdays, I go Fridays. Author asked his friend, what keeps the marriage brimming? He said, whenever you are wrong, admit it. Whenever you are right, shut up. Always remember your wife's birthday. I asked how it is possible. He said, all you have to do is to forget it once. Forgiveness is important. A good wife is the one who always forgives her husband when she is wrong. If the woman keeps the man adequately satisfied sexually, he will be like a pet dog and he will not have to foray into garbage dumps. The lady who finally took a lover was heard saying that if she knew that a lover is such a good performer compared to her husband, then she would have taken her lover much earlier. The reason behind this statement is that the lover has to be adept in the art of love making because he would get a repeat order only if his performance is outstanding. For a run of the mill performance, the husband is enough. My wife and I agreed before we got married that when an argument arises, one of us must take a walk in the forest to avoid problems and further aggravation. Ever since I am living outdoors, it is natural that two people argue, but in marriage, there should not be too many. It is not good for the marriage. In most of the cases, sex becomes mechanical, predictable, devoid of any feelings or enthusiasm, totally lacking in variation or imagination. I was running across the park and came across a man jogging nude. So I asked him, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "All your fault, man. All your fault. You came home early." One guy proudly, "My wife is an angel." Second guy, "You are lucky. Mine is still alive." There are circles of life. Before marriage, you surrounded by parents, then siblings, then relatives and society. But after marriage, the circle of life changes. You surrounded by wife, then children, then parents, then siblings, then relatives, then society. And you have to respect these circles to have a happy married life. You must have heard of the Indian saying, "A man never grows old, he only loses his balls." And there is another one, "Men are like horses, they never grow old." A spouse is someone who stands by you through all the troubles that you would not have had if you had stayed single. There was a saying behind the barman's station, "Those drinking to forget may please pay in advance." When I was a child, my father was so stingy that he did not give me toys. I was lucky that I was a boy, so I had something to play with. There was a small boy who asked his father this usual embarrassing question, "Dad, how did you come into this world?" Dad says, "I was dropped off at my mom's home by a stork." And Dad, how did I come? "Another stork dropped you off at our home." Dad was feeling mightily pleased with himself till then. Why, Dad? Was there never a tradition of having sex in our family? The family which eats together stays together. I had said that perfect grandmother is a paragon of virtue. She is loving and helpful, never interferes and never offers an opinion unless asked for. This is a fantasy grandmother, but then one can at least try. If I had known grandchildren were so much fun, I would have had them before my children. As per author, he relived the good and the bad times and found that the good far outweigh the tough times. Getting married was indeed the best thing that could have happened to the author and indeed to everyone whom he interviewed. The joy that we have received through our children and now through our grandchildren is simply uncomparable. He cannot imagine anything else that could have made us happier. So, marriage is the best thing that could have happened to us. We should love, respect, and give space to each other, and have some unpredictable and imagination in sex. Happy married life to you all.